Howdy there, team and grandpa, specifically grandpa and grandma. Today we're going to do a 100% walk around of my Jeep TJ. Bought it in June. Have had it for 4 months ish now. Love it and hate it at the same time. But yeah, let's get into this walk around, shall we? I have the sweatshirt on my license plate up front to block it. But this is the front bumper that came on the vehicle. Previous owner decided it would be a good idea to weld the front bumper to the frame. So whenever I do end up getting a front bumper, it will be a very hard process of getting this one off. It also has holes for a winch, which I don't have a winch, and I also don't have the money to buy a winch yet. But if I did get a winch, I'd definitely put it on there just to kind of add some texture to the big open front bumper. So starting here with the fenders. These were originally gray. I spray painted them black within the first, I don't know, week of buying the car, because they just look so much better in black, and I've always seen them in black and they look amazing. This fender needs to be replaced. It's got holes that they tried to patch. It's got holes everywhere. You know, you could flat out see through that one. This fender's falling apart, but most of the other fender is questionable, because I don't know what they did, but they like rhino liner painted it with some matte. It's like, it's whatever it is, it's a problem. And as you can tell, they did a terrible job of taping off stuff, and they didn't finish the job and all that. But we don't know the condition of this fender. I'm guessing it's in the same condition as the other one, just kind of covered up, but you can't really see anything under there. So that's all right. So yeah, speaking of the paint, it's 4 different colors. You got the gray that they tried to do here. The doors are also gray, and then they also tried to cover it all black, and then they just gave up after this quarter, apparently. And then they kind of gave up around this area, and then this is the original blue that they like sanded down or applied one coat of black to or something, but that's what that is. And then the original blue is still underneath it in some places. Specifically here, you can still see the original blue, which is what we will be repainting it to next spring. So obviously, Jeep's not a looker, that's for sure. 33-inch tires. I don't know the specifics of it, but it does have 33-inch tires. They're big enough to worsen my gas mileage, so that's great. It's got a 3.5-inch lift in there with bigger springs and bigger shocks. 3.5 inches, so it's a bit of a tall rider. And I'm not a huge fan of the riding how high it is. I would rather it ride a couple inches lower. I'd probably go with 2.5 or 2, because then you can still fit the 33-inch tires, which I like the look of, and I wouldn't go smaller or bigger for my tires. Here in the back, obviously black fender flares. Doors are in ish condition. This one's dented in here, so it scrapes the window. Obviously they've done some repair. This mirror was broken, so I bought a replacement for that early on. The windshield was broken, so mom and dad paid to replace that, so they'd be legal. We have this is a new soft top that I bought a month and a half ago. So originally it had a Smitty built soft top on it, right? So it had a Smitty built soft top on it. The original one that came on it didn't have a rear window, and I wanted a rear window for the winter. We're gonna run the soft top throughout the entire winter and figure out if that's a good or a bad idea. This soft top was $500-ish, most expensive part of the car that I paid for, apart from the entirety of the car. But hopefully it'll insulate well and not fall apart throughout the winter. Had to move the license plate cover there, the sweatshirt that I got on there. Anyways, as you have noticed here, it's got a problem. So this is an aluminum patch that someone put on after screwing up this quarter. Obviously they got some Bondo. They tried to repair it. They didn't paint it. They didn't really mess with it at all. This was from as my understanding for the previous owner, this was a off-road vehicle. It was not a drive around daily kind of thing. So it's got all sorts of problems in this rear quarter, which Dad and I will have to fix next spring, summer. I'll be a bit of a work through. Obviously, normal Jeep square taillights. There's some more blue for you there around the trunk release. Big soft top window. Steel rear bumper that someone put on there, you know, just basic rectangle shape. It's got a hitch receiver, which is great because then I can tow the jet skis and stuff behind it. I think that pretty much does it for the exterior. You know, it's a funny looking Jeep, that's for sure. It's just a basic square Jeep. Now let's move on to the interior. So for the interior, obviously cloth seats. Couldn't go wrong with cloth seats in 2000. Got some tear here, got a tear down here, but that's not a problem. Dust everywhere in this vehicle. Rubber floor mats that the previous owner added. A basic steering wheel. The radio currently does not work, but Dad and I ordered a replacement for that, so that'll be here soon. Currently for my stereo, I got a speaker in the back, which works just fine. Center console normally locks. The lock is broken, so that's not working. Manual, obviously. I accidentally screwed off my handle here and then screwed it back on upside down, so that's no good. Previous owner obviously had auxiliary lights on somewhere, so just have a switch here that I can hook up to my own auxiliary lights sometime. 2 high, 4 high, neutral, 4 low, obviously. E-brake there. Passenger seat is in better condition than the driver's seat. If you see this paint anywhere, that's from the color run that we did for the school, where we threw color on people and then they ran. Obviously manual hand crank windows, because why wouldn't you? Someone took away my ashtray and my cigarette lighter. Kind of angry about that. That there is a stool, thanks to, let me see if I can reach it, there we go, thanks to Grandpa for giving me this idea. But obviously it's just, because the car is lifted, obviously fold it out, fold the stool out, climb on in with the stool, yeah, and then you have your rope to pull it back up to you. You know, everything you need. Sun visors up top don't do much because they're really short, and then I do have 4 pockets in the soft top, which are really nice. For the rear seat, you gotta slide the seat forward and then tilt the seat forward and then fold the seat forward. Not a ton of legroom back here, obviously. It's a rear seat. Bluetooth speaker there for my radio. More paint on the floor and stuff. Rubber floor mats in the back, dog ball. You know, I don't haul a lot of people in the back, so I don't really need space for people. And then I got speakers up top, which is stock where they came mounted, along with in the side here. And then for the back here, you can unzip the rear window, and I flop it up sometimes. And then here's the back of the seat. Not a ton of trunk space, obviously more paint. But the nice part about this is there's a lever over here, so I can flip that and it'll fold down the top of the seat here. That gives you more space, and then you can also grab it and pick it up, and it'll lay flat against the rear of those seats, so then I get all this space where the dog normally is what the dog gets. And I roll the window up for her. She has a grand old time with the breeze. More blue there, obviously it's been banged up a bit, but yeah. Now let's move on to the underside. So the underside of my car has many problems, which we should have diagnosed beforehand. These bolt holes here were for the original side steps that were on it that I took off because I didn't like the looks of, and they ended up breaking off. So I will not be putting the original side steps back on. They're kind of junk anyways. Obviously rust down here. This is skid plate, which also happens to hold up the transmission there too. Rear drive shaft there, which we replaced the knuckle there because the old one snapped off while I was in downtown Spokane. Not fun. Body mounts are rusting out, which is no good. we're gonna have to replace those probably next summer as well. Hopefully I make enough money to do that. Yeah, interior is kind of a rust belt, if we're being honest, which is a typical Jeep problem, but you know, maybe I shouldn't have bought a Jeep then. But yeah, so that concludes my walk around of my 2000 Jeep TJ. It's a 6-cylinder, it's the straight 6 manual, 5-speed manual, the good manual. You know, I mean, it's certainly is a work of art in terms of what the previous owner was trying to do with it and inevitably came short, but hopefully we'll get to work on it and fix it up. Thanks for watching.